Hi everyone. I've put together a little day one of my art retreat that I decided to give myself for the week. My first day I drove 3.5 hours up to Bright. My first stop was at Euroa, famous for the bank robbed by Ned Kelly, 1878, and the gang got away with about £2,000, which in 1878 must have been a lot of money. So while I was there, I had a beautiful walk around the Memorial Park. I've got a bit of footage, and come for a walk with me. They sure are noisy. One thing that was absolutely beautiful was the amount of blossoms everywhere. Just gorgeous. Now, this was the VC Memorial Park and the Victoria Cross. So those three men, beautiful bronze statues, were heroes from the local area. I was particularly fascinated by this photo, and these two men are getting a little ride around in a rickshaw. So the trees were out in bloom, the sun was out. It was just the most stunning day, both for the drive and for the sights. There's more of that blossom. There were some parts of the road that there were blossoms lining either side, and I thought, wow, that's just as good as any Japanese visit. So the next stop was at Glenrowan, and this was where Ned Kelly was famous for doing all sorts of naughty things. This building here had this Ned Kelly coin. You could put $2 in and get a souvenir coin. And it just had a whole interactive thing you could walk in. The picture you saw on the wall was at the bakery. Then I drove on to Bright, and this is where I'm staying tonight, the Freeburg. Oh, I've left an H off that. There's Emily, my car. Emily's, what a wonderful drive. This is the little cabin that I'm staying in. I'm a member of Discovery Park, so you get about 15% off the price, so it's actually quite a good deal. Cute little kitchen. It's got oven, microwave, sink, everything there that you need. I've stacked up the fridge with my week's worth of food, and it's a good size. There's one little room with 2 bunks, so you could have 2 children or even a friend in a different room. Fairly standard caravan park cabins, a toilet in the shower. It's actually a good sized shower. There's enough standing room in front of the sink, and then the main bedroom. It's a double bed. It's not a queen or anything, but I'm on my own, so it doesn't matter. And here's one of the views out of the windows. So after a little rest after the drive, I went for a walk, and I've got some photos, mostly of lichens and that little cute willy wagtail that I had to zoom in on, so it's not as clear. And all the wattle, the beautiful yellows, just what an eye fulfillment for the eyes today. The sun in the little gaps in the trees, the water, the sound of the water trickling, and some parts were flowing incredibly quickly, but for the most part I was interested by now of taking photos that inspired me and photos that allowed me to get into my creative zone. And I was just loving the rocks, actually. Rocks were kind of jumping out to me. This little spot was so cute. I always get a smile when I see little things like this, little no-me spots. And that was actually right next to a little area that children could sort of paddle at the beach. More lichen. All the colours were amazing. So then I had a little art attack after I'd had some dinner, and I'd picked up 2 rocks along the way, and I just had a play, really. I've got a map of Bright underneath. I picked out the brown bit of felt that reminded me of the earthiness of my walk. It was a very long walk and very lovely. And the green wool is also reminding me of all the greenery, the beautiful greenery. So as I was playing and wrapping these rocks in this felt, I was thinking about how last year I'd had 2 fairly severe agoraphobic attacks. I'd never had them in my life. And as I'd been walking across the campground in the middle, I felt incredibly exposed, and I felt almost like I was going to have another one. This surprised me, so I thought I'd push through and allow myself to experience what triggered that, and to let it pass rather than to let it be something. And as I got into nature and walked along the side of the river, it did pass. I don't know where those things come from, but it's just the mind, I guess, playing a new trick. It can be very scary, but I'm glad to say that today was not one of those days. So I noticed that I was wrapping and wrapping and wrapping and wrapping this one rock. It's got the colour silky thread, and it's got the green wool, and it's a real mess. It's like it's very, very wrapped. And the other one's a lot lighter and a lot more delicate. And I just started to think about the ties that bind, which is a saying about the ties that bind us, whether we like it or not. Maybe it's family, maybe it's relationship, maybe it's a friendship, maybe it's commitments that we may not like. But this walk today, it was just me having the space to think about all of that stuff. And I'm quite happy with the day. It was a long day, But there are my two rocks, and I hope you've enjoyed this little walk for the day, and thank you for being here, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.